Joe yesterday. God, I love Joe. He said, go get your vaccination scheduled at gov.gum. And he said it 3 times. And finally someone said it's .gov. And he went, oh. And then he said, well, the CDD's doing a great job. And he said that twice. And I'm like, Joe,
we traded
please
arrogance
stop.
for incompetence.
He works for the government. He's the president. You should get .gov right. That's like me seeing gives.jizz instead of gives. I mean, I'm like, and you're looking at me going, dude, it's a charity website. It's .gives, not .jizz.
You did say jizz.
I did,
3 times.
Because I thought Tony Cooper said jizz. I was like, what? Why would I go to that
really
website?
Bad. That was really bad.
Yeah, it's .gov, not .gum.
Yeah. I don't know. I talked to a COO of a hospital system here today.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because he said, our numbers have doubled and we've gone from 15 people to 30 people, which is obviously not a lot. But his comment was, he's like, I got 7,000 vials of vaccine sitting in the refrigerator. Yeah. And he's like, I can't. He's like, it's like a fire sale. He's like, I can't give them away. He's like, I could stand there with the syringes and go, here you go, here you go. Mm-hmm. But here's what I think is interesting. And I think the hospital is interesting, and I think the sports venues are going to do this more and more. He said what we're doing now, because we just don't know what else to do, is we're preventing people from coming into the hospital to see their loved ones anywhere unless you're vaccinated. Yeah. You can stand here, and what he and I were talking about.
You knew this was coming, though, right? You're a psychologist. I mean, you realize there are people out there, there's a faction of people that could not wait to get the vaccination, and they were going to get and you did that. You got it as soon as you possibly could. I went out there, my son's getting a second one. Then you're going to have the next group. That is the lazy bunch. Yeah. That is like, I don't have time to run down the street, and that's why Biden is trying to open up. The thing is people don't want to have to get on a site. And I'm not saying they shouldn't. We're saving lives. People don't want to, and I'm one of them. You don't want to have to go to a site. And so I think the majority of people, just relax. Yeah. I think the majority of people know that in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, I'll be able to drive down to Walgreens, walk in the door, get my vaccine, and leave in 30 minutes. And people don't want to have to go through, because there was paperwork I had to fill out. I had to find the site. Every site I went to was all booked up and blah, blah, blah. And so I think people are holding off going, when it gets really super easy and I can run to the drugstore or run to Publix, which is doing them now, get a shot while I'm looking at the tomatoes, then I'm good to go. I think people do that.
I don't know.
I think it will.
We're still 50. This day, we're 50th out of 50th.
Yeah.
Like, here's the part that I'm not going on a rant. I've been doing this a long time in public health. And the mask thing, I sort of didn't get, but I got. People didn't believe in it, whatever. It's a hassle I got. When and we always talk about people don't ever want to make lifestyle change, right? You want to get healthy, well, you got to diet. And the people are like, give me a pill. Yep. Just give me a pill. Just give me a pill, and I'll do it. So I honestly thought, when we came out with a shot, when we could say, look, take the shot and you'll be covered. You don't have to worry about it. And even if you're not worried about it, all it is a shot. I really thought, minus the anti-vaxxers, that we would have a bunch of people, and to your thing, particularly when it got easy and you can go anywhere. But I am surprised how many people are like, not that I'm not going to do it. Not that I'm not, but, I don't know. I'm like, I really miscalculated. And when I was talking to this hospital CEO, he was blown away. And the thing that he's upset about, because in the healthcare where he's upset, he's like, dude, what our healthcare providers went through, he's like, we got more PTSD among healthcare providers. And that's what he's worried about more than anything else. We can't do this again.
I think the July 1st thing is about the right. But it was 147. I'm surprised when I see 147 million people have gotten a shot. I'm like, kudos. That's a lot. That's a ton of people. It's almost half the flipping country. We have
why? So why are we 50th here? We got tons of them.
We're Alabama. We're always a little late on things.
We're late on.
And we're a red state.
Like the flu shot.
We think so. Well, okay. So here you go.
And that's the other thing is a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to wait a little bit because I'm probably going to have to get another one in 6 months.
Well,
we don't know.
If I'm going to buy a gaming system, I'm going to wait until the second round. I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5.
All right, let me talk about something. Let me talk about some good medical news because we're not going to get into this.
I'm right on the edge.
A Melania woman yesterday. I don't know if you saw the story.
Melania or Melania woman?
Trump?
Melanian woman. A Melanian woman from Milan. A Melanian woman.
Oh, from
Milan.
From Italy.
Milan.
An Italian.
Milan.
Okay.
She's a Melanian woman.
A lady from Milan.
She's a Melanian woman.
Melanian woman?
She got sent to Morocco late yesterday afternoon because she was going to give birth to 7 children.
Why didn't she have a birth in Milan?
Because in Morocco, evidently, their health care is so incredible.
She had
There was a doctor there.
septuplets?
Well, that's what they thought. So she had 1, she had 2. And again, to have 7 healthy children is very, very rare. We have Octomom, right? She's got the television show. But for the most part, you're probably going to have some stillborn there, and it's going to be premature, and it's going to be horrible.
This is our medical segment.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm a gynecologist. OBGYN here, Tony Curry. Okay. I'm doing examinations after the show this morning out in my garage.
I don't see anything on the wall that says you won't touch their vagina in a sexual way.
If I need to get some type of online diploma or something, I'll hang it up in here.
1-800-GYNO.
Mammograms at noon today at Josh's house.
Gyno.gum.
The CDD is giving me.
The CDD has got gyno.jizz. Go ahead.
So they pull 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another one. 5, and there's 6. Okay. Wait a minute. What's that? Oh, there's an 8th one. Oh, hey, there's another one. She had 9 non-nuplets. Non-nuplets is 9 babies. Yes, it's happened twice, but in both cases, I do a lot of research. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning.
You see all those papers on that?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to look at these because we're trying to be raw and real. So I got all my stuff.
We need to buy him an iPad.
So if I'm ever
killing trees,
I know my shit.
Okay, go ahead.
Non-nuplets. So she had 9 children, 5 girls and 4 boys.
That's crazy.
And they're healthy, thank goodness.
They're all healthy.
The last 2 times it's happened, all 9 died in both cases. Okay, so this Moroccan doctor,
God love her,
but she's got 9 children, 5 girls and 4 boys, and Mama's fine. The kids are going to be good.
Well, Mama's not fine.
I was talking to Brandon.
I
was talking. Well, if you're a millionaire, having 9 kids is going to knock you out. You may have to take a second job. I mean, seriously. I know we hear about it's $800,000 per kid, blah, 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 but that's over the course of 18 years.
Yeah.
And so, but, to just get rid of diapers for one of my kids, saved me $45 a week. And I was like, wow, this is great.
Do y'all do formula?
No, my son had to drink Pediasure.
Yeah.
Because he had a deficiency because he's got special needs. And that was $50-something a week.
Dude, I remember one of the greatest days. We're gonna go back in time just a little bit, and then we'll go forward. The diapers were a pain, and we only had 2 kids, right? But I remember the first time
Did you ever use a diaper twice? You pulled it off. It was a little wet. It's going back on, brother. If it wasn't dripping or there wasn't poop in it, it's going back on your ass.
My oldest was preemie. He was preemie. So that's another scam. Just a total scam. Preemie. So it weren't, and he was just slightly preemie. So, but as soon as you try,
slightly preemie.
Well,
You're
he was
preemie
small, but he wasn't. So when you go from small diapers to what are called preemie diapers, the price just doubled.
Oh yeah.
But I will remember. I have this vision. It's so clear of the groceries and the diapers and and the formula. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first time the formula swept through. And they scanned it. And I was like, you got to be effing kidding me. How much does this stuff cost?
It's
because I was drinking protein shakes at the time. Well, how much? And it was crazy expensive. Crazy. So I remember the last time when we went to the pediatrician, we're like, can we get them off formula? And they're like, yeah. Oh, thank God. I mean, it was hundreds of dollars.
Oh, no. I know.
I was allergic to store-bought diapers. My grandmother had to make cloth diapers for me.
That's nice.
You're such a
with a safety pin,
with a little safety pin.
The safety pin.
You can wash those, right?
Of course you can.
You used to have diaper services. Don't you remember?
A lot of people do. You just wash them, and that way you don't have to be buying diapers. So that's a lot cheaper. It's a pain in the ass, literally, but it's kind of a pain.
No, dude, I tried. We had someone gave us for birth gift, whatever, homemade cloth diapers with. I tried it one time.
I had a friend of mine that worked up at Publix that was it was Ensure, I think it was, and I'm not sure what distribution center it was coming from. And man, I was like, because I know the meat man, I know the produce person. I get great meat, and it's cheap.
They get it to you. Really? You score on meat?
I do.
I had
a time.
Deli?
Yeah.
Deli too?
Don't ruin it for me, dude.
Who is it?
And so I knew the Ensure guy. I find the distributors, I used to love Wickles Pickles. I used to eat Wickles Pickles, and I knew the Wickles guy, and I knew that when the Wickles Pickles expired, they were still good, and so he'd give me all the Wickles Pickles. So I'd have cases of Wickles Pickles that were good for another year, but they took them off the shelf. So Ensure is the same way.
Yeah, no, Ensure's got a long
So I'm like,
half-life.
dude, let me meet the Ensure guy. And so he'd come in. It's a really nice black dude. I think his name was Tyrone. Super nice guy. And he was like, hey, man.
Did you trade? for the
No, he just
station.
gave it to me. He was like, we don't know what to do with it. We just throw it away or we put it back in and add something into it.
Well, you know, that's what we do with food banks. We go every other Sunday with Grace.
It's a whole food service now just selling old crap.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, it's actually sad the amount of food that I'm not going there, but the amount of food we do this once a month. We go and we pick up at a Publix for a food bank.
Yeah.
And this is once a month, they're doing it every single day, and we'll pick up 4 carts of bread, and that's happening every single day to the food bank. And man, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just shows how like.
I mean, I went to, so it's funny we bring this up because I was at Publix yesterday.
I thought we were going to get spicy.
It was pouring down rain. It's pouring down rain. Now we're getting spicy.
Okay.
It was pouring down rain. And I did mention to him, can you imagine the size of the placenta having 9 babies? Does the placenta get larger as you have more children?
I don't know.
Like, I'm not going to even speculate.
All right. Anyway, so I go up there and it's pouring down rain. Right? It was rain like you had to.
Did it rain yesterday?
Oh my gosh!
Dude, where were you?
Yeah, and thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected by that. We're all over the national news.
Yeah.
Homewood got hit really bad. For people that didn't think they were in flood-prone areas, it's now a flood-prone area. They're like,
I had a blast.
There were people like on 6-foot berms going,
Yeah.
I'm good, and next thing you know, they're up to ankle.
Josh, he's out there in his little creek.
Subaru.
Oh, Subaru.
Oh no, I wasn't in.
Was that a creek that you?
That's my creek in my backyard.
Okay.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. Like, the cool thing about that creek, by the way, is when it does that, you see stuff going by.
Oh yeah,
We swear, by the way, we've been there 20 years, that we saw a body one time.
probably.
You probably did.
Yeah,
probably.
we can't tell if it's a log line.
So I go up there and I pull in, and there's now parking spots for Instacart, which is another shift.
Curbside? Oh, it's like ship. Yeah. What's wrong with this? It's commerce.
Well, there was nothing in there, and I'll never park in a handicap parking place
Oh,
because
but
I
you're
know that
parking.
handicap people, they
Yes.
need it, and I have a handicap in my family, so
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to be that guy that's going to go up and look inside and make sure they got the sticker and stuff either. I just hope the people do the right thing.
I wish harm on them.
So I pull in the Instacart.
Oh.
My ass ain't parking 50
Right.
miles away in
The
a
point.
driving rainstorm, and there was nowhere there, and there was another spot that was open.
So why didn't
Another
you?
Instacart.
Oh, another Instacart. Yeah.
Now, if there was only one, I probably would have gone past it
'Cause you're
because I'm a
good
nice
guy.
guy.
See,
I'm
you-
the guy who takes the buggy back
I know.
to the bin,
You
right?
are. That's
Because it
the
makes
thing.
me feel bad.
They
I go,
think you're crazy
go
Tony
back
Curry,
and do
but
it.
you're really a softie.
Yeah.
Go.
So I park, and so I'm coming across. Well, Publix has got this thing now where they have a person in the parking lot. I don't know why. I
What
don't know.
do they do? I've seen that.
I don't know, and they don't like it. The people that work there don't like it because they don't want to be standing outside all day. I'm like, yeah, you're getting some fresh air, and
Is
you're
it to
talking to
monitor?
people.
It's not to count people.
Maybe it's because people are stealing groceries. I don't know. They won't tell me why.
We're
So I'm walking up. So the young lady goes, "You parked in the Instacart." And they know me there like really well, and I was like, "Okay." And she's like, and I was like, so I go in, and I go to the produce.
Wait, she said it to you, and you just looked at
No,
her.
I said, yeah. So I'm looking in for a few minutes.
Did you
She kind of
flip her?
laughed. She knows who I am. She's like,
Okay.
but and I think she was trying to be funny, but she was kind of being serious. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Look at
maybe that's why they're there, to make sure the Instacart people have their own place, and they're right up front. What the hell? If you're an Instacart handicap
we go.
person, great,
Here we
then
go.
park up front. But why, if you're being paid
Here we
to
go.
go buy someone else's groceries because they're too lazy,
Or they're
then
or
why
they
shouldn't
can't-
you walk your fat ass to the back of the parking lot and fill your car up with if that's your job, then you should walk a little bit, as opposed to the older people or people like me that shop there and drop about
Yeah.
$8,000 a month. I should, and again, I always park a little further away just to get a little exercise. Why is it up? Why are they getting the best 2 spots for people that aren't normal shoppers at Publix? Because they can shop anywhere.
Free market.
They can go anywhere. They
Free
can go to
market.
Walmart across the street. Go. Point being, I go back into the fresh produce area.
But
And
you
here's
digress.
Instacart guy with his Instacart shirt on.
Hey. Are you Instacart shaming?
Or shipped. Yeah, the green ship. They
You know
got
how
the
much money
shipped.
that
And I'm
brings
like,
to our
so
economy?
you have to wear the shirt now. It's like an Uber
You
driver.
do,
Are you
yes.
wearing your Uber
Look at him.
uniform?
All right,
What
Archie.
are we, Cintas here? What the hell is going
We need
on?
like a lazy boy.
So I go back.
All right, go
the
ahead.
dude is pulling
the
apart fingers of bananas.
He's what?
He's pulling apart fingers of
Okay,
bananas.
but hang on. I'm just asking a question on this. Is he on the organic side or not? Because the organics
He's
wrap.
on both.
Because you
the
can't-
organics on the right, the regular
But is he
bananas on the
pulling-
left.
is he-
And I'm sitting there waiting for him, and you
Yeah.
can tell he's uncomfortable doing what he's doing, but he's done it before. So I'm kind of like waiting around, and I'm kind of, I'm only in there to get some cheese dip and like some pita bread or something
No
for
vegetables?
for nachos that night, right? Or whatever, tacos. So I see him pulling apart bananas.
Yes.
And he's taking apart 3 or 4 bananas from each group and getting a group of bananas.
Why is he doing that?
To pick out the best bananas. That's part of the deal. When you get a group of bananas, they come in 5 or 6. Not every flipping banana is going to be perfect. Some of them are going to have just a little brown on the heel.
Where are you going with this?
My point is these ship people and these Instacart people are ruining for us shoppers who actually enjoy going out and grocery shop because it's what we do. We're the oil changers, we're the grass cutters, and we're the shoppers, right? And so I'm waiting for this guy. My point is I'm waiting for this guy, and he looks over his shoulder, and you could tell he's kind of embarrassed. So then he goes over and he does it to the grapes. Now listen, if you're picking out apples, I get it. Pick out your best apples. I smell my cantaloupes. I want to make sure I get the best cantaloupe. I'm not going to pick the worst piece of fruit.
Okay.
I'm going to pick the best.
Yeah.
But when they already come in a bunch, he's pulling out pieces of grapes out of bags and putting them in other bags so he can get the perfect bag of grapes. And I'm like, that's
not
bullshit.
that. You know what that is? That's OCD.
Well, or the 35-year-old Mercedes driving Lexus owner who doesn't want to go shopping for it because their kids are in private school and they ain't got time because they're down in the Bahamas.
What about the person who is immunocompromised and can't get out of their thing?
Old people don't care about the freshness of their food. My mom used to eat black bananas, and she used to say because old people are from the Depression area and they'll eat anything.
Say Depression area?
Yeah.
Depression era.
Depression era.
From the CDD on .gum. No, they're from the Depression era, and they save everything. Yeah, that's part of the deal. Is when you get a package. When you get a perfect bag of cherries or a perfect bag of grapes, and that means every fruit in the bag is perfect. It's a miracle. It's fantastic. It's like I really did really well.
Yeah.
But I mean that happens like once in 100 times. And again, Publix, I love them because their produce is really really good.
No, it is.
Very rarely do I get bad fruit.
I don't have time. Okay, we're gonna. God, I can't believe we're gonna.
Something happened to me on the way here.
Good. Say something because we need to. Good.
It really got me, and these kind of things get me going a little bit. So I was turning off 280, right? And there's a section where there's several turn lanes in a row, right? So there's the dotted lines, right? So I waited till my dotted lines of my turn lane started before I got into that turn lane. Well, this asshole had gotten in the turn lane 3 or 4 in front of me, and I pulled to the right, and he honks at me like I was wrong.
It's on.
Yeah.
It's
like,
on.
Do not honk at me.
No, do not.
I slowed down to like 10.
Yep, because you can't go until the dots are clear, and you can't go there.
Yep. And also, like in an intersection where not many people know this, but you're supposed to turn on the outside so you can see. Like if I'm turning to the left, I have to turn on the outside so I can see to the right. Does that make sense? Like a median thing. Not many people know that. They wanna turn on the inside.
That's also driving in the South. It's a whole. I don't want to go into this.
Dude, we got more. We're starting to turn in New York City. I get honked at almost every single day. And if you got time to honk, then you got time to avert.
No, listen.
You got time to stay out of an accident. If you got time to honk on your horn, you got time to put your foot on the brake and chill out. Stop honking.
No, listen. When I first moved here from LA. And in LA, it is very common, and it's not rude. If someone's at a red light and it turns green and they're not really paying attention, in LA, you give them a few seconds, and then you don't slam on your horn, you toot the horn.
Yep.
Beep beep. So when I first moved here, there's somebody, and la 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 la. I go 1, 2, 3, honk my horn. Turned around. I mean, it wasn't confrontational. I'm like, and my wife was in the car. She's from the South. She's like, "What are you doing?" Like, you didn't go. I'm just like letting. Oh, you can't do that. That's rude. You can't do that.
We get preemptive honks here, and that bothers me.
What's preemptive?
Like people think that you're going to do something wrong, and they'll honk at you.
Well, then
I was in a lane coming out of Indian Springs yesterday, and I had a guy to the left side. I had my turn signal on. I was going to either let him go faster or go back, and I sped up a little bit. He sped up, and so I just waited. And I had my turn, and he's honking at me to let me know he was there. And I'm like, I'm looking at your ass, dude. I know you're right there.
You're in a minivan.
No, whatever.
That was because you're in a minivan. All right, can we go back to the bananas just for a second?
No, I do. Okay. I don't want to go to the bananas.
I want to ask, why don't car companies make different tones of horns that you can use?
Oh, that'd be a great idea.
Because we get in car accidents.
So then you're pushing things on your steering wheel to make sure that we get the right sound. That's the dumbest, stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life.
Why do you think we're going to self-driving cars?
Well, no, you just have big buttons that have smiley face.
Or they should have the horn attached to the brake. because in most cases you're braking when you're honking.
Yeah.
And so that way everyone's honking. Every time they brake, we just honk to let people know.
But then we come desensitized to it and nobody pays attention to it.
We've been talking a lot about divorce on the show for some reason.
They're still talking about everyone. People are so bummed out about the Gates divorce. I know you're going to do, but I am.
Well, did you hear about this weird I wasn't going to talk about this. Did you hear about the weird relationship he had with his girlfriend?
Whose
during
girlfriend?
his marriage?
Bill Gates had a girlfriend?
He had a girlfriend that he had a relationship with. She was super, ultra, uber, weird, smart, just like him.
Like
she's
a
like
mistress?
a woman. She's like a
But
woman.
he had a mistress?
No, not a mistress. She was a girlfriend. He was dating her. Then he met Melinda. Everything sounds Melania.
She's Melanian.
She's Melanian. Her name is Melinda. He meets her. He goes to his girlfriend
in Morocco
to get approval to ask Melinda to marry him.
That's
Melinda
okay.
knows about her. They're fine. Well, even after they get married,
Yeah.
Melinda and Bill, he continues once a year to go on a trip with her. They've
He's
gone to
gotta ask
Morocco. They've been to Bahamas. They go and do these summits. They've climbed mountains together.
Is
And
she-
it's not all work related, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. It's just, and that went on for a long period of time during his marriage. I don't know if it lasted the
How do
entire
you know
time.
all this?
This woman, I do research.
No, I
dude.
know, but where did this come out?
The woman is married to someone famous. She's his girlfriend. She's 70 years old now.
Okay.
But I saw the story this morning. I was like, that's kind of weird. What dude has a relationship with a girlfriend and then continues that relationship and they
Bill
go
Gates.
on monthly trips or
Bill Gates.
I don't know what wife would put up with that crap. And they seemed to be all amicable. They were all friendly and they knew each
so you
other.
just
And
went
she
on
knew
trips-
she knew about
Did the girlfriend did girlfriend end up getting married that you know?
Yeah, the girlfriend got married to
Okay,
the
so
guy.
there was a foursome.
Yeah.
But just Bill and the girlfriend.
Well, yeah, after he got married, they continued to
Not
go.
all four of
It
them.
was the old, I've always done this and I'm going to continue to do it. And Melinda was evidently fine with it. Now you could say they weren't, but
There you go.
people keep finding, this is what pisses me off. What happened? What happened? Why didn't it work? Dude, they were married for 27
but
years.
that's
That's
what-
pretty good.
No. I know that's the thing to me that is really interesting about this is like when the Bezos got divorced. I don't know. There wasn't this sort of national like bummed outness. I mean, it's just. I mean, people were talking about and they were talking about the amount of money and the amount of money.
Yeah, but he looks like a jerk off. He
Yeah.
with him, it's like
You know
he's
what-
bald. He's got that wry
you know what
smile
this
on his
is?
face.
You know what
He's
this
affected
is?
more people on earth than Bill Gates has.
You know, this is, and I've seen this. This is the couple that you never thought would get divorced, right? You thought they were all good. They get divorced, and it's that instant. Oh my God! If they got divorced, what does it say about
Oh, yeah.
me? They are bringing out therapists everywhere in the media now. Why did it go wrong? What could have gone wrong? 5 tests that you should take to see if you're going to go down the same route. It scares people to death.
Well, that shows you, and you will agree with this, that you have no idea about a relationship unless you're in it.
Absolutely.
Like when people post on social media, they're only posting the good moments. You have like when people get divorced, you're like, oh, they seem so happy. You have no idea.
Absolutely. I mean,
They're only posting their good stuff.
Right.
I mean, you don't.
You never
What?
post the bad
No,
stuff.
I was just thinking about you have no idea they're getting divorced. So you have both. You have the I can't believe they got a divorce. Then the geez, I've been waiting.
Sure.
I can't believe it went 5 years.
Yeah, and that's the thing is if it went 26, 27 years, chances are the last 5 or 6 years have been pretty campy.
Yeah.
Do you
pretty
think
rough.
like my grandparents were married for 60-something
So
years?
were
Do you
mine.
think that is going away? That will not happen much.
We talked about it
anymore?
yesterday. It only happens 3% of the time that married couples make it 50
Yeah.
years.
So I think 2 things are going to happen.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
First of all, they're dying off before they can actually do it.
okay. But if people live longer, they can't.
I had a grandparent that they were married 75 years.
Yeah.
Really?
She got married when she was 17. He was 18.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 75
My
years.
grandparents were
He drank a
married-
martini and smoked a cigar every night. They watched Wheel
Mine
of Fortune
too.
together.
Maybe they were friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lawrence Welk too. My so I think a couple things. If you look at the trends, a couple things are happening. I mean, obviously, divorce is common and mainstream now, whereas 50 years ago it was less. We know that people are getting married later, so that kind of messes things up in terms of how.
And less.
What?
And less.
Yeah,
there's
they're
now
getting married.
there's now more single people on this
Right.
earth than there are married people
So-
the first time ever.
So it's an interesting thing. You may actually see, if you do all that, there's more vetting. That's the way I started thinking about it. So you may actually see more couples who have longer lasting relationships because They're starting later. Less people are getting married. So like if you're going to take the plunge, it's not just the next thing to do. My parents' generation, that's absolutely, my mom will tell you, my parents got divorced. My mom was like, it was a formula. My dad was like, it was a formula. We were college sweethearts. We thought we loved each other. So we finished college.
And they probably did.
Well, he did. And he's like, so we got married. And then and he's like, then we got married and we had a good time. And then it was time to have the first kid. And he always tells the story. My dad God rest his soul. My dad would tell the story. He's like, the only reason we had you was because we had to have your brother 3 years later. And he's like, and after they got divorced, he's like, I just went along just because that's what you did. I mean, my mom did the same thing. My mom she graduated college. She wanted to go into business. She wanted to be a psychologist. No, she became a teacher.
But I think in that generation, because same generation my mom and dad were in, your mom and dad were in, and maybe a little before, divorce was never an option.
No, my grandparents, You just
the divorce, you were miserable and you just dealt with
our
it.
parents are the generation of it just went down. What's the Gloria Gaynor song? I called it divorce. I Will Survive. I mean, they were breaking up.
They stuck it out. And in a lot of cases, it worked out.
Well, we know,
in
but
a
we
lot of
talked about
cases,
that.
it doesn't.
It worked out in what way? In what way?
Well, it was better for the kids, for one thing.
Not necessarily.
Because I think our parents were better off. My parents could have gotten divorced 20 years ago, but they played along. We never knew. I only knew until after my mom passed away how nice my dad was.
So that's different. If
there wasn't shouting matches. There wasn't screaming.
If you stay together for the kids, and you can't absolutely pull it off and dupe your kids,
be an adult,
then get divorced.
Yeah,
because it is. I hear this all the time. We're staying together for the kids. Forget your religious beliefs. We're staying together for the kids.
Before you say get divorced. Because I know there's some religious properties are going to probably hold it back a little bit.
No, I understand.
But you got to do everything you possibly can to try to save it.
I totally agree.
And if you think that you are so far apart, and even if you think it's amicable, because it's never amicable, it's nothing ever 50-50. There's never. Some person's going to get hurt a little bit more than the other person. There's not. And for anything else, go get some therapy, go get some counseling, and work through it. Just
see how good?
And I'm saying this, and don't necessarily do it to save the marriage. Do it to save you for your next marriage or for your next relationship, because you're going to have so many resentments. And if you don't get in front of someone and share those things, because you're never going to say it to her, and she's never going to say it to you. Thank you. Do it to help do it to help you, because when you go through a divorce, and again. When you're going through it, you're always thinking, man, I'm going to do things a lot differently. I really messed up here. I really messed up here. I have resentment here. You're not.
You're not until.
Because I hadn't come out.
I had this with a client yesterday. He's not going to divorce, but he went through a divorce, and he's talking about all the things that he knows he does bad. Oh, I did this, and I did this, and I know I do this, and I know. And so we call it reflective listening. That's what we call it. And we reflect back on you. So what I'm hearing you say is that you don't make yourself a priority, or you made yourself a priority over your wife, and instead of, going to therapy, you decided you all had. So I was basically reflecting back to him all the crazy stuff, not crazy, all the bad stuff that he did. Mm-hmm. But it was coming from another voice. You talk about an impact when somebody tells you the things that you've told them and you hear it. That's why you go to therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to therapy for some other reasons, but absolutely. The thing I don't like about staying together for the kids is...
It depends on how old the kids are.
But listen, if you can't do it in a way where there is truly some level of either faking it or at the best some amicability... Mm-hmm. Then don't do it, because parents think that you're duping the kid. Parents think you're doing it for the kids, and the kids don't know. The kids know. I can't tell my parents. They know.
They sense it. They feel it. Yeah.
Even if they're 3 and 4 years old.
You're not touching each other. You're not acting like you're.
And then particularly if you're screaming and yelling at each other, it's not better for the kids. And that gets to the thing that you and I talked about. Our grandparents. I know my grandfather loved my grandmother. Mm-hmm. They were married 70 years. But, if you looked at the way they kind of treated each other, we would all be like, whoa. He would tell her to put her in her place and all that kind of stuff. You can live together for 70 years. We talked about it. Would they have been married 70 years? How many were happy? About 20.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that's a reflection of unhappiness, but I think that's just an old school way of the man being the man and the woman.
Oh no,
during that generation,
I mean,
and again, you don't know. You think they were happy for 20 years.
No,
but it could have been 40.
Yeah.
I mean, and sometimes couples are cranky. There was a great. I was watching. God, sorry, I was watching. I was watching the Andy Griffith Show last night, and it was about this couple.
Show.
Yeah,
it was about. It was the greatest television show. It just makes me feel good.
The comedy is. It's
so good. It's so fantastic, and it was about this couple that just absolutely railed on each other.
Yep.
She just absolutely got in his face. He got in her face. There was fights. The cops were called over there once or twice a week because of domestic. It was Andy Griffith era, so they weren't beating each other, but they were verbally abusing each other. And so they tried to get them to have Andy Griffith type of counseling where he said, now say, thank you, June. That was a delicious meal. And she'd go, well, no problem, Howard. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And so they tried to get him to do it, and they hated each other. They hated each other because that's not who they were. They were perfect for each other. By the end of the episode, they were screaming at each other, and they were happily married for 6 years.
Do you think they had sex on the Andy Griffith Show?
Absolutely.
You think so? Yeah. Who?
I saw the one with Barbara Eden the other day, by the way. She came onto the show, and she was a nail, and all the guys were lined up around the place. There was some sexism on that show that was before its time. It was really good.
You know, Andy Griffith was a spinoff of another show?
Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers.
Andy Griffith was like Mr. Rogers.
Andy Griffith was a sheriff. He was the sheriff on a show. He was not the main character, and he was so good, people loved him, that's how he got his own show. But I can't remember the show that was spun off. It was a show where he was a sheriff in town, but he wasn't the main character. And then they spun the Andy Griffith Show.
My favorite episode of all time, Mr. McBeevy.
I don't know.
Man.
I'm not.
If you watch the Mr. McBeevy episode and don't cry your ass off, then you don't have a heart or soul.
I think I do think it's regional, man. I mean, we watched the Andy Griffith Show on the West Coast, but everybody I've talked to here, my wife included, they just love the Andy Griffith Show.
It's so clean. And so
we were more I Love Lucy,
and it's got to be the black and white Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
Colorize. Do not colorize. Don't colorize any movie.
Well, once Barney leaves, it's not about the color. It's about that Barney left.
That's true.
Once he left the show.
And by the way, not absolutely one person of color on that show ever appeared.
That's right.
Really?
Yes. See.
Never.
See, Mr. Rogers had it.
What would have happened if they had a black deputy on that show? A doctor just came out yesterday, and we were talking about,
just the barber.
You said something very interesting, I thought, yesterday.
I did.
You're like, it starts with, things are going well in front of the kids, and then it starts with, hey, listen, I'm not sleeping well, so we're going to sleep in separate beds.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have separate vacations, and we have separate cars, and we have separate houses, and then you're separated and you're divorced, right? I thought that was really interesting. So a doctor came out yesterday and said, we need to all go through a sleep divorce. It went on Reddit, and it blew up. He's a psychologist and said, we weren't meant to sleep together. We're meant to sleep together.
Yeah.
But then we should go our separate ways and sleep separately. He said we
separate
were not
rooms or just at least separate beds.
Separate rooms because it includes snoring, sleep apnea. You have to go pee in the middle of the night. All of that.
Totally,
man. And now we're finding out through builders. I reached out to a friend of mine who build houses here. He's like, you would not believe 50% of the houses I build, he gets his bedroom and she gets her bedroom. And I'm thinking to myself, because part of being married is making that commitment. And I know you don't like the word sacrifice, but that is sleeping with your partner. And kids need to see mom and dad together.
Well, it depends how they see them.
For the most part. But I mean,
Dad
to go back to Andy,
Mom and Dad are wrestling.
The Dick Van Dyke Show, they slept in separate beds.
Well, I Love Lucy. They said, obviously
they slept in different beds.
Pull them beds together.
Fred and Wilma slept in different beds. So, and
Brady Bunch wasn't Brady Bunch the first show? Brady Bunch, I think, was it?
Actually, I think the Flintstones was the first primetime show where they were actually both seen in the same bedroom. I don't know if they slept in the same bed.
Do you remember how spicy the scenes were in the bedroom of the Cosby Show? Do you remember how spicy they got? That was really, really funny.
So anyway, he's saying first of all, our bodies get warmer at night. It makes it uncomfortable. All you gotta do is watch all these bed commercials. There's all this cooling technology, and her side of the bed, her feet get warm. His side's super cold, and you can go up and down. She can stay this way. You can change the sleeping habit if he's starting to snore. In other words, you can roll me over without even touching me. And so they're trying to create these beds So we can all sleep together, but we still can't because if she rolls over, there was a great Friends episode, I know we're talking a lot of television, about the woman who rolls over and puts her arm around because she wants to hug him and he's like, get the hell away from me. And the whole thing where he puts the pillow in her arms and she spins it. So his whole thing is we were not meant to sleep together.
Yeah.
And if you're having sex or whatever, then you need to go off in your own little corner. It's okay to fall asleep in each other's arms. There's nothing wrong with that.
So
but there's also nothing wrong to get up in the middle of the night and go hit the couch because I sleep better without you.
Yep.
And so I'm wondering from a psychological standpoint, there were a lot of older folks. And again, he's like, I know there's outliers. A lot of people's like, thank you so much for bringing this up because my husband doesn't think I love him because I don't want to sleep with him, or he thinks it's kind of strange. Because the thing is they've been together in the same bed for 10 years, and all of a sudden he's like, I got an idea. I think I want to start sleeping somewhere else in the house. And she's like, and she likes it. She likes having him with her. It makes her feel strong and comfortable. And so all of a sudden he's like, And so that's something that married couples are starting to explore.
It sends a super strong message. You have to be super careful about how you broach it. Because if you literally say, I think I'm going to go in the next room. Yeah. That's sort of.
Or he ends up not coming to bed till really late at night.
Yeah. But you can. I mean, look, I've been married 20 years. We're the same bed, but man, we California king.
I built that little rock bed out there.
Yeah.
And had I not built that, I'd have 6 feet of water in this room. That was one of those architectural. I was like, we're going to do this right. I kept getting water in my bed. It's a man thing.
Yeah.
Let's go get a load of rock.
I'd
spend an entire weekend. You had someone do it for you. Probably.
I was thinking
there was only one Jewish carpenter, by the way.
I was actually thinking about that snake thing the other day. You were talking about how you didn't want to kill it or you wasn't going to kill it. Yeah. But the snake doesn't think the same thing. That's a conundrum to me. Like it will not delay in killing everybody in this house if it needs to. Does that make sense? Like, though, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. That's why we're supposed to be
above the animals.
Right. Well, that's what makes us human, right?
Right. But it's just a conundrum to me. Like,
the snake would kill you if it needed to.
Yes.
But you can make the argument. Okay, we're going.
Just like remember the ape story where the kid gets into the ape thing in the zoo, whatever. Yes. So they kill the ape.
Right.
Right. The ape didn't know it was hurting the baby. It was hurting the baby. Right.
Right.
They killed it. So if you turn it around, if you have a baby ape in your presence, that mama ape's going to kill you.
Yeah.
No question.
Right.
Right. So when people are like, why'd they kill the ape? Well, because it was hurting the child.
Yeah.
It didn't know it was hurting the child, but it was hurting the child.
Well, that's why we put down dogs if they bite.
Yep.
If my dog bites somebody, it's going to have to be put down. It's my family dog, but that's because we're humans.
But you don't like your dogs. We all know.
Yeah, you don't like your dogs anyway.
I'm trying. Please bite away. No, I love my dogs. Just
Speaking of dogs, are you going to go to the crazy? We're going crazy. I sent you that Lady Gaga thing.
Yeah, real quick though, based on what he just said, there's a very interesting story about a surfer yesterday who had to go to court. He was attacked. He was in Australia. He was attacked by a great white, and it chewed on his leg.
Yeah,
and took his whole leg off.
Okay,
he lived to tell the story. Right,
yeah.
took like midway up his leg, and bit into his board. This was like 10 years ago, and so there was a tooth that was left in the board, and he wanted that tooth back. He wanted to use it not only to teach kids and show kids, because now he's got a fake leg. He's got no leg. He's hopping around like a pogo stick, and he's like, I want the tooth back. So he called the police department or the animal wildlife, whatever it was, and said, I like that tooth back. They said, you can't have it. And he said, why? He said, because you can't sell any type of body part or animal that is considered an endangered species, blah, 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 and this tooth is part of that animal. So you can't have it.
It was in his board.
It was in his board. I know. And he's like, I want it so I can teach, and it would be a great momentum. I'll make it. And it was huge. It was like one of these, it was a big tooth. Ugh. And so finally a judge yesterday said, you can have your damn tooth.
It was
back.
In his...
If there's and he's like, listen, it's a tooth for a leg, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
He took my leg. I want the tooth. The tooth is no longer attached to the shark. Give me the damn tooth. And so he got the tooth back yesterday.
Do you know the apex predator in the ocean? It surprised me, actually.
The octopi.
No.
Dolphin.
The squid.
No. Well, a type of dolphin, yes.
Bottlenose.
Bottlenose.
The killer whale is technically a dolphin.
Oh, yeah, the orca.
Yeah,
There's
the
been
orca.
a lot of those, too. There was another one yesterday.
We talk,
apex predator
of course.
Like they will attack a great. Here's how particular they are in their food. They'll attack a great white and just chew the liver out and leave the entire body.
They are the wolves of the ocean
Yes.
because they only work together.
Yes.
And they will take down the biggest thing in the world. They can take down a dinosaur if they work together. And they headbutt.
Yeah.
They come in and disorient it to the point where it doesn't know what's
and they'll
going
flip them with their, like salmon, they'll knock them out with their tail. I mean, they're very,
Plus,
very
they look
smart.
cool.
Oh, they're so
They
cool.
look like all the other ones. Like even sharks don't look cool.
Right.
These things, we talk about this. This is the animals taking over. Like this is, you look at an orca and until they open their mouth, they kind of almost, it's like a panda.
Like a little panda. Yeah.
Look
Like
at that
a
orca.
sleek
And
panda.
I've been whale watching.
because
Look
it's black and white.
Look
It's
at the
got a nice color
orca.
scheme.
We're going to pet the orca and they just kill you.
We love animals with color schemes.
Yes, we do.
We do.
We were talking about the Donald J. Trump. Welcome to the Donald J. Trump desk. And I want to bring that up again because I know it gets on your nerves. But what we did find is Facebook came out yesterday, and a lot of people want Donald Trump to be on Facebook, and they're going to come out today and announce whether he should,
their advisory board.
whether he's going to have it or not. And of course, he's created his own thing. He probably doesn't care. So, in secret documents that we weren't supposed to find out through the Freedom of Information Act,
Yes.
CNN found out some of the words that you cannot use on Facebook, or they will pull your content. Now, we've done things where we've used a classic rock song, and it'll run for a little bit. That Back in Black thing I showed you, and they flag it. It ran for a little bit. It's flagged out, and of course, you get that notification. Like, we had stuff from our show taken off because of the sexual nature of it. Remember?
Yes.
We posted something a couple of years ago, and they pulled it off, and we kind of laughed about it. We're like, yeah, whatever. Dude, have you seen the crap that's on social media? They pulled it off. So they came to find out the word crazy is not a good word. It's a flag word. Fat is a flag word. Disgusting is a flag word. If you post anything with those three words in it, Facebook is going to look at it.
It flags it.
It flags it. Now, not necessarily means it's going to be taken down.
That's interesting.
But the whole thing is, if you shame,
yeah,
if you say Josh Klapow is a fat, disgusting pig, it ain't going to fly.
Yeah.
And which I think is really interesting because it bothers me.
Dangerous also.
It's really dangerous.
It is. But I mean,
hey, listen. I'm not trying to get personal, but as a Jewish person, that should be scary to you.
That's scary.
Because that's the very beginning of 1935
Totally
Germany.
right.
Yeah.
If you're talking about killing people, maiming people, threatening people, I get it.
Sure.
If you're talking about insurrections or trying to get dark people together,
but here's the difference. Here's the difference.
Or even hate crimes.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Here's the difference. I mean, this is what technology allows us to do. I'm not disagreeing with y'all, but here's where I'm going with it. The ability to flag it is potentially beneficial because those words, in some cases, are then associated with internet-based bullying, harassment, threats. So I'm not saying, what I'm saying is flagging it from an algorithm standpoint is okay to me. Flagging it. Pulling it off, no. But if you say you're this person's a crazy, what'd you say? Crazy, fat, what?
Crazy, fat, disgusting individual.
Crazy, fat, disgusting individual who doesn't deserve to live. Right?
Well, that's going to flag it right there because you're saying they don't deserve to live.
Well, using words.
It's threatening.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's a threat.
I actually don't have a problem with it being flagged. Where I'm like dancing is, okay, what constitutes a remove it, pull it?
The problem with them doing this at all.
Yeah, remember, they're using AI too. So this is pretty advanced. Like, this is more, they're running algorithms that we can't even.
But as much as you disagree with Donald Trump, you can't do what they did to him. I mean, that's pulling him off social media.
Yeah, I actually disagree with that. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think pulling him off social media was a smart thing to do.
Right.
I don't. Particularly, hang on. Particularly if you're, look, they brought Zuckerberg in, and they brought the Google guys in, and they said, what are you? Are you, and if you're a platform, an open platform for communication, then you shouldn't ban people. Again, the problem is we have to make these judgment calls. Okay, you're not going to ban Donald J. Trump. What do you ban? Direct threats?
Well,
indirect
so
threats?
I think here's the difference. I think when you start legislating speech like they're doing, so if I go up to a woman on the street and call her a fat bitch,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna do something. I'm gonna pay the consequence. There's gonna be consequences.
Right.
I can do that. I have the right to do that, but somebody's gonna step up and probably punch me in the face, or something's gonna happen to me. But when big tech and the government start saying you can't say this or you'll get just like in Canada, you can get a ticket. You can get a ticket for saying the wrong thing to the.
We need to realize you cannot make people act or respond a certain way. You can plant seeds and get them to understand that what they're doing is wrong. We've talked about anchors being body shamed. There's trolls out there. There's going to be people out there. Here's my biggest issue with this. If you take those people off and continue to reprimand them, red flag them, they're going to find another form, another platform, and it's already happening, that is all hate-based.
Parler.
And they're going to get Parlers.
Right.
That's the example I was going with.
Yeah.
You're going to create something that's not going to be diagnosed. It's not going to be looked at. It's going to be allowed. Hey, if you want to get something off your chest, and Parler's being super smart because we're not all about hate, whatever, but we do allow you to say whatever you want. Well, that's where people are going to go. And that is growing exponentially to the point where you may be a person that said some things that maybe you're a father of three and you're a coach for a football team, and maybe you've said some things that you didn't like about Joe Biden or Donald Trump. But you're going to feel a lot more comfortable being in that platform and saying some things that normally you wouldn't say on Facebook because that's not the guy you are, because it's on Parler.
That's the problem.
Well, it's Parler because that's what people do.
Now we've tribalized even more, right? Now we've created
and that's not good.
And I don't. So here's the thing: if I'm really being honest about this, I don't think people should be banned, but I have no problem with speech, communication that is misrepresentation, threatening, perpetuating hate, and in certain, I'm trying not to be political, certain public health emergencies, sending false information. And what I mean by that is, imagine even just in a hurricane, instead of being as big, imagine in a hurricane or a tornado, and you're putting up 1-800 number that is not the right number, or and you're taking people's money. Let's for donations.
Yeah. Well, sure.
But so my point is, I do think we should have oversight on what's being said and have some criteria about what is dangerous and threatening. I don't know that you should be banned. I can imagine you being a person saying all kinds of nasty stuff, and what we do is we just keep pulling your stuff off. We don't ban you. We just ban every time you say something nice, you get to keep it on. You say not nice, non-threatening, you get to keep it on. I do think, and we're running into this right now. What are we capable of handling? If it's complete open communication, then nothing should be taken off of Facebook. Nothing should be taken off any of these social media platforms. This is why we have the dark web. We have all stuff. We are not capable of as a species of managing this.
And you're right. And I hate the fact that we have to have someone to tell us, hey, that's bad, we're going to pull it off. Well, that is ridiculous to me, because that's who that person is. That says a lot when you put it in writing. We're seeing it every single day. And the fact that we have to have someone regulate our speech on a worldwide platform, to me, is really
because here's
sad.
The other thing, and I get, from a mental health standpoint, one of the things we see, and this is, I don't really care that you say bad things, but we see it becoming so pervasive that people do take their lives because of it. It is so internet, not shaming, internet or social media harassment, and people don't like to believe this, and you can't understand it until you've been a part of it. It can absolutely mess with your mind and bring you down to the point where you are depressed and suicidal. We see it. The data is super, super clear.
There was a great study, by the way, that you bring that up.
Boy, even those
that came out yesterday of 400,000 teenagers and their social media platforms, and they found no differentiation between children watching television in the 90s and being on social media today.
They say
it does not affect kids like we think it does. Now, being on it too much does.
Oh, in terms of their intellect and all that stuff.
And their emotional responses and their overall psychology of how they feel about particular things. So
within a certain amount. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, if you're on social media 12 hours a day, chances are you're going to be. But I mean, the line is really thin about again, I think it's super important that we put restrictions on how long kids should be on social media.
I think there's a new ideology kind of rising from the earth where people are trying to get rid of hate and racism.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to get rid of hate and racism. There's always going to be shitty people in the world.
Sure.
You just raise your kids like I was raised. Listen, there's going to be bullies. There's going to be shitty people. Just don't give them what they want. You know? Like you can't get rid of hate. You can't get rid of it.
But I agree with you. Here's the problem with parenting, though. And this is I call this the we didn't sign up for this. So there's parents, and again, as you get into younger and younger, but there's parents, particularly between your age and my age, whatnot, who they don't monitor this stuff enough. They don't teach their kids as strongly about literally specifically the morality of the internet, right? You know, because frankly, I mean, I'm in that generation. We didn't sign up. When we had a baby, this wasn't part of it. And there's a lot of parents who don't spend enough effort to do it. And the reason I say it's a lot of effort is because you have to fight against the entire wave of social media. It is probably teaching your kids about self-esteem, about sifting out critical thinking. We've always said that those are important. Now it's life-saving.
Yeah.
Like now it's life-saving for your mother. You should be teaching your kids not just be a good person. I mean, the whole be a good person, that doesn't cut it. You have to teach your kids critical thinking to the point of, I mean, and there's a lot of parents who are like, well, whoa, hey, I just thought I was supposed to have the baby and teach them not to bully. I mean, it is parenting now, and you hear this like, oh, it's not any different. It is 10 times harder.
No, it is. There's no doubt.
Because there's more stuff flying.
I think it's important, too. I got a 16-year-old. I got a 13-year-old. They're not allowed to be on social media, but they are. They see my post. All you do is pull up Twitter.
Dude,
it comes up on their page.
Post?
Yeah, exactly. So
hate sex.
What are you talking about? What I tell them is, you don't feel like you don't need to respond because trollers want you to respond.
And you can also
They're
block.
hecklers. They're hecklers,
Just
right?
block.
They're hecklers. And if you respond to
I block.
Yeah, block.
But I go head in.
Well,
he's pulled me
but
out.
You see,
that's how you got 2 kids.
You get it. You kill them with kindness. Hey, let's have a cup of coffee and speak about this. Where do you go to church at? I do it all the time because I like to win people over. But I'm 55 years old. I've been doing it for 20 years.
He'll text me and go, "What are you doing?" I'm like, sometimes I'll have to text him like, I'm in.
No,
dude.
because they pull you in, and next thing you know, you say something that you feel bad about saying.
He's watching
so
my
it's like,
feed.
what are you doing? Don't go there. They want you to respond, and they're going to use that against you. It's the whole KD dude with the other guy. He got him to respond, and he used it and made KD look bad. So I tell my 16-year-old, say, sorry you feel that way. Have a nice day, and get out. And then block it, be done.
I will tell you, you're younger than us, but you're still old. The next group down, the 20-somethings.
Yes.
I watch my kids, they are far more savvy about, it's not just not posting, it's what they post when they post.
Sure.
There is much more calculation about it. Well, we're dumb. I mean, at this group, the 40 and up is pretty, we get sucked in far more than the 20-somethings.
Because we're looking for that affirmation. We're insecure in ourselves.
Absolutely.
That's why we have to post pictures of our wives kissing us and public display function and
birthday parties.
Yeah, birthday parties. And
look
at this. And then doing a heart and with the sun in it and having my wife's ass in the background.
Did you see mine?
What's that?
Want to do with my daughter's birthday when she was like 6. And
you had to let everybody know it's her birthday. I know, that's great. And of course you were doing that for family members that didn't live in this area. I understand.
I did not put it on my professional page.
Yeah.
I sent it to you, put it on Instagram. Yeah. Look at you.
Because you're all about them clicks, baby, aren't you? You're all about building up that 30,000 Instagram followers.
I'm almost there.
Oh, did you see that? And then you get all the comments, heart, beautiful. Oh, you look so happy. I'm so happy for you. Tell her I said happy birthday from someone you don't even flip know.
I know, and that makes you feel even better.
I had a girlfriend break up with me because I didn't post enough about us.
Oh, nice. That's for another show.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I said, all right, see ya.
We did. Wait, didn't we just do something on our show about couples or?
Yeah, but we never gone that route.
Literally
breaking
broke
up because you didn't post something. Are you going to
She
post
broke
that? Are you
up
going to
with
post that? Are you going to post that?
Now listen, did you purposely, not purposely, did you purposely not post anything about?
Well, my Instagram is only for my career.
So it's professional.
It's professional. And I really don't post on Facebook.
Okay. So your Instagram, and
at
did
all.
you?
I mean, if you look at my Facebook right now, it's either professional or there's no.
So
post.
did you? So did you? It's professional. So did you sort of have this rule, this internal rule, that I'm not posting anything personal on my professional page?
I don't know if I had a individual thought. It just kind of organically happened because I want to. The thing is, I'm spending time with you and creating real memories. Who cares if I post about it? We're actually experiencing it in real life.
Why do we have to let people know?
Exactly. Who cares?
It's you and me.
Yeah,
so why do I need to let everybody know?
But what was her? Okay, but what was her concern?
Because to her it showed that I was ashamed of our relationship or something.
Oh, please.
No, I'm not saying that you were, but that's
I'm out in public with her. I'm at restaurants with her.
Yeah.
How am I ashamed?
What did we have?
I'm holding hands with her in public.
Red flag.
That's an insecurity on her.
No, it's a huge red flag.
The fact that you have to affirm your love or emotional attachment to her by posting pictures of you together is like unbelievable. And it hurts your case to get other women.
No, but did it become to the